Tonight on the Doug Garrison Show, Doug's guests include Marquette Mayor John Kivela, from the Mining Journal, Claire Abent, and some of the area's best artists from the Zero Degrees Artist Cooperative. The Doug Garrison Show starts now.
Tell the host 2 minutes. Stand by live to tape. Lighting to show level, please. Confirm front of house sound PFL. Roll tape on masters to all places. Alright, let's clear the set. Cue John music, open stage mics, standby effects, standby CG, standby to open on 3, 2. Alright folks, let's have a good show. Stand by, roll it in.
Welcome to the Doug Garrison Show. Thanks for joining us here at Upfront Company. We've got a great show for you, so we're glad you're here. Hope you stick around. I want to give you an update on last week's show before we get too far into this. Last week we had Dr. Jim Sorrell, the SOS Diet Doc, here with us. An update on that, sugar is still bad for you. We also had UPAWS here, the Marquette County Humane Society, and they had a dog with them named Sugar. Well, Sugar has been adopted, and we like to think that that's a great thing. Yeah, really, that's great. We want to see as many animals get adopted from that program as possible, so we're really excited about that. Now, Sugar also has 2 sisters, Honey and Syrup. Yes. They're still available, and I think you can change names if you want to. So they're still available if you're interested in a beautiful dog for your home. Now, this week is, of course, the upcoming week. We have our midterm elections, as they call them, Tuesday, November 2nd. We're all encouraged to get out and vote. That's the thing we talk about, get out and vote. Well, here at the Doug Garrison Show, we take a little bit of a different stance. We suggest that if you don't want to, you don't vote. You can exercise your right to not vote. That's right. Our position is, if you have to be shamed into voting, then maybe you haven't been following along enough to even be qualified to vote. You don't know what the candidates are and the issues are, so we suggest you stay home and don't vote. Now, what else could you do? Well, if you really want to be patriotic and do something for your country, how about get out and shop on Tuesday, November 2nd? That's our proposal. Get out and shop on Tuesday, November 2nd. Now remember, if you don't vote, you can't complain. So that's going to give you a lot of time on your hands. You won't have time to complain, but remember, if you don't feel like you're qualified to vote, please don't, because that makes my vote that much more valuable. Now, we've got good guests for you tonight. We have an elected official with us tonight, so we'll see what he thinks of our Don't Vote campaign. Marquette Mayor John Kivela is with us. We also have Claire Abent from the Mining Journal. We have some very talented artists from the Zero Degrees Artist Cooperative with us. And we have Rebecca and John with us. So stick around, and we'll be right back.
Big, scary.
They're gone. Come on, we got you. Relax. You're all right. Wolf tooth.
The Marquette Community Federal Credit Union has a great deal just for you.
No way.
You can get a loan for 6.9% APR up to $5,000 for a maximum of 36 months.
That's outstanding.
No, it's true. That's 6.9% APR up to $5,000.
Really?
Plus, there's more.
Come on.
Non-members stop in and ask about additional savings.
Yikes.
Great value and savings at the Marquette Community Federal Credit Union.
Good friends, good food, good times. Sit long, talk much, laughed often. Quotes you've heard or seen hanging on the walls of kitchens. They're all true because a kitchen is the heart of your family's home. When you walk through the doors of Schwalbach Kitchens, you become part of our family. As we help you create the kitchen of your dreams, see how affordable creating those memories can be. Schwalbach Kitchens, part of your family and your local kitchen dealer for over 32 years.
And we're back. Thanks for sticking around with us here. Thanks, Rebecca and John. And now our first guest tonight is John Kivela, Marquette Mayor. John, thanks for joining us.
You bet. Thank you for having me.
What do you think of that Don't Vote campaign, by the way?
Well, it's interesting to say the least.
Good, thank you. Well, we're not sure if it's going to pick up or not, but we'll see. listen, have been a member of the commission now for some time, and you're the mayor. And I'd like to say that I think you're a very efficient group. You guys seem to get things done. You have a common goal, and you work together, and it seems to work very well. It also seems to me that there are no political party affiliations that get mixed into that dynamic, and it seems that maybe that has something to do with the efficiency of the operation.
Well, I think you're right. I think if you look at state and federal government, party lines obviously are very divisive and create a lot of the rift that we have. We're a nonpartisan group, so we don't have to sit on two sides of the aisle, and we really have 7 people that work very well together, and it works for us.
I think it's great, and maybe the state and federal governments could take a lesson from that. I don't think that's going to happen.
I think so, but
it would
right.
work well. We have your website up on our screen right now. It's fairly new. It's very efficient, very user-friendly. I wanted to point out that the information is on there right now about the fall cleanup schedule for Marquette citizens. I've paid attention to myself. I've got my brush out on the curb. I'm ready for that.
Well, you're right. This has been probably 3 years in the making to roll this out, and we're quite proud. There really is any article or any piece of literature that you might want to find on the website. It may take a while to peruse. There's a lot of pages, but everything's there.
Just about everything is there.
Yep.
Yeah. Now the city has been recognized for some achievements and accomplishments lately. Tell us about that.
Well, we've been fortunate in the last year, or actually 2 years. We've had considerable amount of different awards. Most recently, a couple of entrepreneurial awards we're quite proud of. We believe that quality of life is very important to our residents, and that's kind of reflecting in the entrepreneurial area, because people want to live here, and they're coming up with creative ways to employ themselves to do that. And that really is the next segment of job growth in this country, and we feel that we've got an edge. So
one of the things we're going to try to feature on this show is those people that are doing that, those entrepreneurial things that we really don't know about. They might be working out of their home or a small office somewhere, but they're doing big work that's getting recognized nationwide. So we're going to try to focus on that. Let's get to it. Let me ask you a little bit of something about. We have to deal with the townships quite a bit. What's the relationship with Marquette and the townships, Chalkley and Marquette Township?
Certainly better than they've been in many years. I've reached out, and the township managers have reached out to me in the past year. I'll tell you, Dennis Limata and I have become good friends.
From Marquette Township?
From Marquette Township. Dennis is a great person, works very hard, cares about what he's doing, and they want to do the right thing. They've gone in the last year through the same thing that the city went through, 6+ years ago, being a recall. That's a lot to pull yourself out of, and they're headed in the right direction. And we've got some good things coming down the pike to back that up.
We really are kind of one market, and we need to work together for the betterment of all, I think.
Absolutely. We know all of our budgets are shrinking, and the way that we're going to survive is to work together and work better at what we do.
Sure. I want to ask you about this, the Heartwood Forest Land.
Okay.
We've got this up on our screen now, too. This is this big parcel of property that the city bought, partially in the city property, partially in township property, and I think you're in the process right now of determining what to do with that. What's going on there?
We are, and actually the previous question rolls into this one, and that's our relationship with the township. We're working with the township on a significant portion of this property, which may become township property. I mean, that's what we're headed towards if we can agree on keeping it recreation, which our residents and their residents want. We may have joint ownership of a pretty big chunk of this, but overall, the city bought this for the future and for recreation, for development potential. And again, development always gets construed as, strip malls and condos, and that's not it. We're cognizant that this is a very desirable piece of property that means a lot to this community for economic development. And any development that takes place there will have that in mind. Maybe it's lodging for recreation, whether it's bikers or skiers. Maybe it's shops or restaurants geared towards recreation. That type of development that really grows the potential there and not diminishes
Obviously,
it.
you want some taxable property out there, too.
Well, we need to. The city paid over $5 million for the parcel with interest. We're going to pay back $8 million for this. We do need a return on the investment.
Sure.
Our taxpayers deserve that.
Sure. Let me ask you about Founders Landing. That seems to be going along quite well.
It is. The condos that they're building and the townhomes are a little bit ahead of pace. That says a lot in an economy like we've had in the last 2 years. They're ahead of pace. As most people notice, the hotel has been pouring piers that the building will sit on for the last couple of months. Whether or not they continue building through the winter, I think is questionable because of the costs building along Lake Superior in the winter months. But for sure, that construction will continue in the spring.
We've got some great ownership down there, so I'm really optimistic about what's happening there. A topic of conversation, the roundabout. I enjoy it. It has a kind of a European thing to it, which I enjoy, and I haven't had any problems. It seems to be working.
Well, you know, a couple of things to remember is the roundabout wasn't a city project. That was a state project. That's state property. They own the line, the land that it sits on, and it was their decision. Having said that, I think it's the right decision because we went from an intersection that really had 27 conflict points, believe it or not.
I do believe it.
To one that, you know, in its worst, has the potential for side swipes.
Yeah.
Okay? There have been some really tragic accidents on the previous intersection because of the potential for what we call a T-bone or a head-on or a side strike conflict. So this is really an improvement, and I think people are getting used to it.
Yeah. One last quick question. There's development and concepts plans going forward for Lakeshore Boulevard out there on the way to Presque Isle. Briefly, what's happening there?
Well, you know, that's a big discussion, but ultimately what we're trying to do, everyone knows there's contamination there. We also know we have a big erosion problem, and we need to move the road in. Well, what we're trying to do is the Corps of Army Engineers knows they need to fund some of this because they created the erosion. We're trying to parlay the money that they have available to move the road and cover up some of the contamination. So we kind of, you know, get rid of a couple of problems with someone else's money, and that's what we're after.
Right. It's a complicated project. It's going to take a while. It's going to take some money, but hopefully it's an improvement over the long haul.
I think it will be. We're going to move the road. There will be more room for public space, a better bike path, more views of the lake, and also using federal dollars to clean up a property that really we're stuck with. So
that'll be great. Listen, that's all the time we have. We're going to have you back again, though, because you've got a lot of information that we want to know about. So, John Kivela, thanks for joining us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
At Range, we only sell you the phone you need.
No pressure, just great friendly service.
Get your next cell phone at Range. We introduce personal communications to the UP.
Looking for Divine Consign and Donated Furniture? They've moved behind Lowry's Pasties on Bancroft off US 41 in Marquette. And remember, all proceeds go to Marquette Catholic Schools. Divine Consign, good furniture, good cause.
People in the UP must love throwing money out the window, because without energy-efficient windows, they do it all winter long. If they would just take some of that money and invest in new windows, doors, and siding from the window store ABC Seamless, they would have a guaranteed energy savings of up to 40%. Don't let your chance to save up to $3,000 fly out the window. Schedule an installation date now, before the fast-approaching tax credit deadline arrives.
Your clear choice, the window store.
Hey, there's a great game. Now, isn't this more fun?